It was 2:17 a.m. when her phone lit up. She was still lost in thoughts about the previous night. She assumed I was oblivious to everything. 18 years together, 3 kids, our business destroyed because she couldn't keep her affair off the company credit card. When I said I would take care of the divorce papers, she froze. It was too late. My name is Winston Stratton. I'm 43, and for the last 20 years, I've worked on building 2 things, a family and a business. Both seemed strong until one Tuesday evening when everything began to fall apart. I was in my home office in Scottsdale, Arizona, finishing a proposal for an important client. Our IT consulting firm, Stratton Digital Solutions, was about to secure a deal with a Fortune 500 company. Vanessa and I had built this business from scratch when Emma was just a baby. Now, we had 15 employees, 3 kids, and a life that seemed perfect on the outside. It was 11:47 p.m. when I heard Vanessa's car pull into the driveway. Late again, for the 3rd time this week. She had claimed it was a networking event with potential investors, a tech mixer downtown. I went to the kitchen to greet her and maybe warm up some dinner. She entered the house, and I immediately noticed something different. Her hair was messily styled, but in a purposeful way. Her lipstick was smudged on one side, and there was a scent, something that wasn't her perfume. It was masculine, woody. Vanessa dropped her purse on the counter and said, "You're still up?" I replied, just finishing the Anderson proposal, watching her face closely. "How was the event?" I asked. "Exhausting," she responded, kicking off her heels and heading toward the stairs. "I'm going to shower and sleep." She didn't look at me once. In 18 years of marriage, Vanessa had always looked at me when she came home. She would kiss me hello and ask about my day before talking about hers. I stood there, listening to the water running upstairs. A cold feeling settled in my chest. Not panic or anger, just a quiet realization. The kind that comes when your instincts finally override your denial. I went back to the office and opened my laptop. I checked her calendar, the one we shared for business. There was no mention of tonight's supposed networking event. I looked through her company email, the one she had given me access to years ago for business continuity. There was no sign of any mixer, no calendar invite, no email confirmation. That was when I began to truly search. What I found would shatter everything I thought I knew about my marriage. The next morning, I acted as if nothing had happened. I made coffee, scrambled eggs for the kids, and asked Vanessa about her schedule. She sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone, barely glancing up. "A client meeting at 10 o'clock, she said absent-mindedly. "Then lunch with that potential investor. I might be home late again." Emma walked in, her backpack slung over one shoulder. At 17, she was sharp and perceptive. She glanced between us, sensing something, but said nothing. Jake thundered down the stairs next. At 14, he was always hungry, grabbing toast without sitting down. "Where's Lily?" I asked. "Still getting dressed," Emma replied. "She's taking forever picking out shoes." A normal morning, a normal family. Except nothing felt normal anymore. After everyone left, I went to my office and did something I never thought I'd do. I called my brother Nathan, a divorce attorney in Phoenix. He was one of the best, and I needed advice before I went any further. When Nathan answered on the second ring, "What's up?" I hesitated. Saying it aloud would make it real. "I think Vanessa is having an affair." There was silence. "What makes you think that?" I told him everything. The late nights, the missing calendar events, the strange scent, the way she stopped looking at me. Nathan listened without interrupting. "You need proof," he said finally. "Solid, undeniable proof, not just suspicions. Especially with the business involved, you need documentation." "How do I get that without becoming someone I'm not?" I asked. Nathan's voice softened. "When you're protecting yourself and your kids, there's nothing wrong with that. Check her phone records, credit card statements, anything you have joint access to. But don't do anything illegal. Don't hack personal accounts. Stay clean." For the next 3 days, I went through our financial records. Our business accounts were joint, everything transparent for tax purposes. That's where I found it. Charges at hotels in Phoenix, not the ones we used for business travel. These were boutique hotels, romantic places downtown, with multiple transactions over the last 6 weeks, all on Thursdays, all charged to our business credit card under client entertainment. Then, I found receipts, dinner for 2 at expensive restaurants, wine that cost more than our monthly grocery bill. She had categorized them as business expenses, smart for tax purposes. But I knew for a fact that we had no clients in those areas. I photographed everything, built a timeline, and cross-referenced it with her calendar, the real one I had found on her laptop. For the past 2 months, every Thursday evening, she'd blocked out personal time from 6 p.m. to midnight. The final clue came when I checked the partnership agreement we signed when we started the company. I drafted it myself with Nathan's help, back when we were young, hopeful, and never imagined needing protective clauses. But there they were, the infidelity clause, buyout provisions, everything I needed to protect myself and our kids if things went the way I suspected. I sat in my office, looking at the evidence spread out before me, and something inside me shifted. Not heartbreak, not anger, just cold, calculated clarity. I knew what I had to do next. I waited until Friday morning. Vanessa had just returned from her yoga class. Her hair was still damp, and she wore those expensive leggings she bought last month. The kids had already gone to school, and Emma had driven Jake and Lily, which meant we had at least 40 minutes alone. Perfect timing. Vanessa poured herself a coffee, scrolling through her phone, as usual. I sat at the kitchen table with my hands folded, watching her. I'd replayed this moment in my mind 100 times, but now that it was here, I felt nothing but cold clarity. "We need to talk," I said. Vanessa glanced up, barely showing any interest. "About what?" "About Brad Sullivan." Her hand froze mid-scroll for just a second. It was a small tell, but I noticed it. Then she quickly recovered, rearranging her face into an expression of confusion. "Who?" "The guy you've been meeting at the Phoenician every Thursday night," I said, keeping my voice steady and calm. "The one you've been charging to our business account as client entertainment. The one who's helped you spend $8,000 of company funds in the past 2 months. Vanessa's face drained of color. She set her coffee down slowly, carefully, like she was buying herself time to think. "Winston, I don't know what you're talking about," she said. I slid a folder across the table toward her. Vanessa stared at it, but didn't touch it, as if it might burn her. "Hotel receipts, restaurant charges, GPS data from your company car, which is also company property. I have dates, times, locations, even the wine you ordered." I paused. "I also reviewed our partnership contract. You remember the infidelity clause, right? The one you thought was paranoid when I insisted Nathan add it?" Her jaw tightened. Her eyes flashed with something defensive, almost angry. "You've been spying on me, going through my things." She snapped. "I've been reviewing our business expenses," I corrected her. "Something any 50% partner has the legal right to do. What I found was my wife systematically stealing from our company to fund an affair. That's embezzlement, Vanessa. That's fraud." She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Her eyes darted toward the hallway, probably calculating if she could leave, regroup, and come up with a better story. I'd seen her do this in business negotiations 100 times before. "Don't," I said quietly. "Don't insult me by lying anymore. About everything. Text messages you thought were deleted. Calendar entries. Even a statement from the hotel staff confirming you've been a regular guest." Vanessa's face changed, and then the mask completely slipped. What replaced it was something cold, calculating, and defensive. "You want to know why?" she asked, her voice rising. "Because you haven't touched me in over a year. Because all you care about is work, the kids, and that stupid house. Because I felt invisible in my own marriage. So, you decided to betray 18 years of marriage and risk everything we built?" I asked. I stood up slowly, walked to the counter, and poured myself more coffee. My hands were steady. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call Brad. You're going to tell him you're free next week, permanently, because I'll be handling the divorce papers." Vanessa stared at me, frozen. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating. "Wait," she whispered. "What?" "You heard me," I said. "You can't be serious." Her voice trembled now. "We have kids. We have a business. We have a life. You're going to throw all that away over this?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing but profound disappointment. "I'm not throwing anything away, Vanessa. You already did that the moment you chose to lie, steal, and betray everything we built together. Pack your things. You can stay at your sister's. I want you out by Sunday evening." Vanessa didn't leave quietly. The next hour was a whirlwind of manipulation tactics. First came the tears, the pleading, the promises that it was all a mistake, that Brad meant nothing, and that she'd end things if I'd just give her another chance. When that didn't work, she tried bargaining, suggesting counseling, claiming that divorce would hurt the kids more than her affair ever could. When I didn't respond, she turned vicious. "You'll regret this," she hissed, her face twisting into something ugly. "My father will destroy you. You think you can just kick me out of my own company? I built that business just as much as you did." "Our company," I corrected her calmly. "And according to the partnership agreement you signed, infidelity committed by a partner, especially when using company resources for personal gain, triggers an immediate buyout clause at a discounted valuation. Nathan is already drafting the paperwork. You'll receive what you're entitled to, nothing more." Vanessa's face went completely pale. "You talked to your brother about this? You told Nathan?" "I talked to my lawyer to protect my interests and my children's interests," I replied firmly. "Emma's applying to colleges next year. Jake and Lily need stability, not chaos. Do you think I'm going to let you drag them down with you? Let you ruin their future because you couldn't keep your vows?" That shut her up for about 10 seconds. "The kids don't need to know about this," Vanessa said desperately. "We can tell them we grew apart. We can be civil." "I agree," I replied. "That's why you're going to pack your things quietly and leave without making a scene. Because if you force me to explain to Emma why her mother destroyed this family, I will tell her the truth." That afternoon, after Vanessa had locked herself in the bedroom, I sat down with Emma. She deserved to know first, being the oldest and the most perceptive. We sat in my office with the door closed, the sounds of the house settling around us. "Dad, what's going on?" Emma asked immediately. "Mom's been crying all morning, and I heard you two arguing." I took a deep breath. There was no point in sugarcoating it. "Your mother and I are getting a divorce. She's been having an affair for the past several months, and I'm not willing to stay in a marriage without trust and honesty." Emma stared at me. I watched her process it, saw the confusion, the understanding, and then the anger flash across her face. "That's why she's been gone so much. All those Thursday night meetings," Emma said quietly. "Yeah, I knew something was wrong." Her voice shook, but she was holding it together. "She's been different, distant. I thought maybe you two were just stressed about work." "I'm sorry you noticed," I said. "I should have seen it sooner." "Don't apologize," Emma said, her jaw setting in a way that reminded me of myself. "She did this, not you. Are we going to be okay?" "We're going to be fine," I promised. "Better than fine. I need you to help me with Jake and Lily, though. They're going to need their big sister more than ever." She nodded, quickly wiping her eyes. "What about the business?" "Smart kid, always thinking 2 steps ahead." "I'm buying her out," I said. "The company will continue. Our employees will keep their jobs. Nothing changes professionally." That evening, I sat Jake and Lily down together in the living room. Jake was old enough to handle more details. Lily needed gentler truths. "Your mom and I decided to get a divorce," I said simply. "Sometimes adults make mistakes and hurt each other, and the best thing to do is to live separately so we can both be better parents to you." Jake went silent, his face shutting down the way it did when he was processing something painful. Lily's eyes filled with tears immediately. "Is it my fault?" Lily whispered. I pulled her onto my lap. "No, sweetheart. This has nothing to do with you. This is between your mom and me. You three are the best thing that ever happened to me, and that will never change." Jake finally spoke. "Where's Mom going to live?" "With Aunt Rachel, for now," I said. "You'll still see her. We'll work out a schedule." By Sunday evening, Vanessa was gone. She packed 3 suitcases, took her car, and left without saying goodbye to the kids. She just walked out the door while they were at their grandmother's house. 18 years of marriage, 3 children, and she couldn't even face them. Emma found me in the garage that night, organizing tools just to keep my hands busy. "She's really gone?" Emma asked. "Yeah, good," Emma said quietly, fiercely. "She doesn't deserve you, and she doesn't deserve us." I pulled my daughter into a hug and realized something profound. I wasn't broken. I wasn't even damaged. I was free. Monday morning hit like a freight train. I was in my office at Stratton Digital Solutions, reviewing the preliminary buyout calculations Nathan had sent over, when Michelle, our executive assistant, knocked on my door. "Winston, there's someone here to see you. He says it's urgent. His name's Brad Sullivan." My blood went cold, then hot, then settled into something perfectly calm. "Send him in." Brad Sullivan walked into my office like he owned the place. Tall, confident, wearing an expensive suit that screamed tech money. He had that practiced smile, The kind that worked on investors and, apparently, worked on my wife. Winston Stratton, Brad said, extending his hand. I didn't take it. I just looked at him until he awkwardly lowered it. I think we need to talk, Brad said, settling into the chair across from my desk, uninvited. About what? I asked. About the Anderson contract, the Fortune 500 deal you're pitching, Brad replied. I'm the VP of Technology at Anderson Industries. I'm the one evaluating your proposal. The room tilted slightly. This couldn't be real. The universe couldn't be this cruel or this perfect. You're joking, I said flatly. Brad's smile widened. Not joking. Small world, right? I've been reviewing your proposal for the past 3 weeks. Very impressive work. Vanessa's been helping me understand your company's capabilities during our meetings. There it was, the smugness, the deliberate provocation. I stood up slowly, walked around my desk, and closed the office door. Then, I turned to face him, keeping my voice perfectly level. Let me make something very clear, I said. My personal life and my professional life are completely separate. You want to evaluate our proposal? Fine. Evaluate it on merit. But if you think you can leverage your relationship with my soon-to-be ex-wife to manipulate this deal, you're making a serious mistake. Brad's smile faltered. I'm not trying to manipulate anything. Then why are you here? I asked. In my office, telling me you're sleeping with my wife and reviewing my biggest contract? What exactly did you hope to accomplish? He shifted uncomfortably. I want to be upfront. Professional. Man to man. I stepped closer. A man doesn't sleep with another man's wife. A man doesn't use business opportunities to rub affairs in someone's face. You want professional? Get out of my office. Review the proposal objectively. Make your decision based on the work, not the drama. Brad stood up. You're making this personal. You made it personal the moment you touched my wife, I replied. Now you're in my office trying to what? Intimidate me? Assert dominance? I don't intimidate, Brad. And if you tank this deal because of your relationship with Vanessa, I'll make sure every tech executive in Phoenix knows exactly why. This industry talks. Choose wisely. Brad left without another word. I sat back down at my desk, my hand shaking slightly, and called Nathan. We've got a problem, I said. That evening, I got home to find Emma sitting on the front steps, her face pale and worried. Dad, it's Lily, Emma said immediately. She won't come out of her room. She's been crying for hours. I tried talking to her, but she wants you. I found Lily curled up on her bed, hugging her favorite stuffed elephant, her 8-year-old face blotchy and wet with tears. My heart broke. Hey, sweetheart, I said softly, sitting on the edge of her bed. Lily looked up at me. Is Mommy coming back? She'll visit, I promised. You'll see her all the time. But why did she leave? Lily's voice cracked. Did I do something bad? Was I not good enough? I pulled her into my lap, holding her tight. Listen to me, Lily. None of this is your fault. Not one bit. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes and hurt each other. And the best thing is to live separately. But you, Jake, and Emma, you 3 are perfect. You're the best parts of both of us. I miss her, Lily sobbed into my shoulder. I know, baby. I know. Jake appeared in the doorway, silent and watching. At 14, he was trying to be strong, but I could see the cracks forming. Jake, come here, I said. He hesitated, then walked over. I pulled him into the hug, too. And we sat there, the 3 of us, while Lily cried, and Jake fought back his own tears. We're going to be okay. I promise. I'm not going anywhere. Emma's not going anywhere. We're going to figure this out together. Later that night, after I'd gotten Lily to sleep and Jake had retreated to his room, Emma found me in the kitchen. Mom called, Emma said quietly. She wants to talk to the kids tomorrow. Okay, I don't want to talk to her, Emma admitted. Is that wrong? I pulled her into a hug. No, honey. You feel what you feel, but she's still your mom. Eventually, you'll need to find a way to communicate, even if you're angry. I'm so angry, Dad, Emma whispered. At what she did to you. To us. I know, I said. Me too. But we can't let anger poison us. We're better than that. Emma nodded against my shoulder. I'm glad you're my dad. I'm glad you're my daughter. Nathan called me Thursday morning with news that made everything worse. I found something, Nathan said, his voice tight. Remember that money you were saving for the move to Colorado? The $80,000 in the joint savings account, earmarked for the down payment on the house in Boulder. My stomach dropped. What about it? It's gone, Nathan said. Vanessa transferred it to a personal account 2 weeks ago before you confronted her. She was planning this. I sat down heavily. That money represented years of sacrifice, extra contracts, late nights, skipped vacations. We've been planning to relocate the business to Boulder, expand into the Colorado market. The kids were excited. Emma had already visited the University of Colorado campus. Can we get it back? I asked. We can try, but it'll take time. She'll claim it was for business expenses or that she's entitled to half for the divorce settlement. The fact that she moved it before you filed might actually work in our favor. Shows premeditation. I drove to Rachel's house, Vanessa's sister's place, where Vanessa had been staying. Rachel answered the door, looking uncomfortable. She's not here, Winston, she said. I'm not here to fight, I replied calmly. But she stole $80,000 from our family. Money meant for our kids' future. I need to know if you're aware of what she's doing. Rachel's face fell. She told me it was her money, that you were trying to freeze her out. Rachel, check the account dates. Check when she transferred it. I didn't even know about the affair until after she moved that money. She planned this. She's been preparing to leave for months. Rachel looked sick. I'll talk to her. Don't bother, I said. Just know that when this goes to court, the truth will come out. All of it. That evening, Emma came to me with her phone. Dad, you need to see this. It was an Instagram post from Vanessa. A photo of her and Brad at some upscale restaurant. Glasses of wine raised, both smiling. The caption read, New beginnings. Sometimes you have to let go of the past to embrace your future. She posted this publicly? I asked, stunned. Emma nodded, angry tears in her eyes. Half my friends have seen it. People are asking me questions. It's humiliating. I pulled her into a hug. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Your mother's making poor choices. She's making selfish choices. Emma corrected me. There's a difference. The next morning, I got a call from Anderson Industries. Not from Brad, but from his boss. Mr. Stratton, this is Patricia Chun, CEO of Anderson Industries. I understand there's been some personal conflict between you and one of my VPs regarding your proposal. I chose my words carefully. There have been some complications. Yes. Brad Sullivan no longer works for this company, Patricia said bluntly. We don't tolerate employees who create conflicts of interest or engage in unprofessional conduct. Your proposal is still under consideration and will be evaluated solely on merit. I apologize for any distress this situation has caused. After she hung up, I sat back in my chair. Brad had been fired. Vanessa's meal ticket was gone, and I felt absolutely nothing but cold satisfaction. Friday afternoon, I was picking up Jake from wrestling practice when my phone exploded with notifications. Texts from Emma, from other parents, from our neighbors. I pulled over and checked. Emma had posted something on Instagram, a long message that started, Since my mom decided to make her life public, I'm going to tell the truth. My heart stopped. I called Emma immediately. Dad, I know you're going to be mad, Emma said before I could speak. But I couldn't stay quiet anymore. She's lying about everything, making you look like the villain. And I'm done watching her manipulate people. Emma, what did you post? The truth. That she had an affair. That she stole money from our family. That you've been nothing but kind and fair through all of this. That she walked out on us without even saying goodbye. I pulled into a parking lot and read the full post. It was detailed, emotional, and brutally honest. Emma had tagged Vanessa, tagged Brad, tagged everyone. Emma, I appreciate you wanting to defend me, I said carefully. But this is between your mother and me. You didn't need to put yourself in the middle. I'm already in the middle, Dad, Emma replied, her voice breaking. We all are, and I'm tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not. She hurt you. She hurt us, and she's out there acting like she's the victim. I drove home, found Emma in her room. She'd been crying. I'm not mad, I said, sitting on her bed. But I need you to understand something. When you go public like this, there's no taking it back. Your relationship with your mother just changed permanently. It already changed, Emma said fiercely. The moment she chose someone else over her family. That evening, Vanessa called. Not me. She called Emma directly, screaming loud enough that I could hear it from across the room. Emma held the phone away from her ear. Let Vanessa rant, then said calmly, You made your choices, Mom. I'm making mine. Don't call me again until you're ready to apologize to Dad and actually mean it. Then Emma hung up. She looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Did I do the right thing? I pulled her into a hug. You stood up for what you believe in. You defended your family. That takes courage. I'm proud of you. Later that night, Jake knocked on my office door. Dad, I want to talk to Mom. Tell her she needs to give the money back. I looked at my 14-year-old son, seeing the anger and hurt in his eyes. Jake, that's not your responsibility. She stole from us, Jake said simply. That money was for our new house, for our future. She doesn't get to just take it and pretend everything's fine. My kids were fighting my battles. And while part of me was proud of their strength, another part of me ached that they had to grow up this fast, this harshly. I'll handle your mother, I promised. You focus on being a kid, on wrestling, school, and your friends. Let me carry this weight, I said. But Jake shook his head. We're a team, Dad. You taught us that teams support each other. In that moment, I realized something. Vanessa hadn't just destroyed our marriage. She had forged something stronger. She had united our family against dishonesty, against selfishness, against betrayal. We were broken, but we were becoming something better. The divorce hearing arrived 3 months later. Nathan had warned me it would be brutal, and he wasn't wrong. Vanessa showed up with an aggressive attorney from Phoenix, a woman named Catherine Price, who specialized in high-asset divorces. They came ready for war. Your Honor, Catherine began. My client has been systematically pushed out of the business she helped build. Mr. Stratton has used his position to isolate her, to turn their children against her, and to manipulate financial records. Nathan stood immediately. Your Honor, we have documented evidence that Mrs. Stratton engaged in an extramarital affair using company resources, embezzled company funds, and transferred marital assets to personal accounts in preparation for divorce. We're not requesting anything beyond what the partnership agreement stipulates. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s named Judge Martinez, looked over the documents. I've reviewed the partnership agreement, she said. The infidelity clause is clear. Mrs. Stratton, did you or did you not engage in an affair while using company credit cards for personal expenses? Vanessa's attorney tried to object, but the judge silenced her with a look. I made a mistake, Vanessa said quietly, playing the victim. I was lonely. Winston had become distant, cold. I saw companionship. That's not what I asked, Judge Martinez interrupted. Did you use company funds for personal expenses related to an extramarital affair? Vanessa hesitated. Yes, but... And did you transfer $80,000 from a joint savings account to a personal account prior to divorce proceedings? That money was mine, Vanessa argued. I earned it too. Nathan stood again. Your Honor, that money was specifically designated for a family relocation and business expansion to Boulder, Colorado. Mrs. Stratton transferred it 3 weeks before Mr. Stratton even knew about the affair. We have documentation showing premeditation. The judge reviewed more documents. I'm ordering the immediate return of 75% of that money to a joint account pending final asset division. Mrs. Stratton, you'll receive your buyout according to the partnership agreement terms, which, given the circumstances, is generous. Vanessa's face went white. Catherine Price tried to argue, but the judge had made her decision. Outside the courtroom, Vanessa approached me, tears streaming down her face. Winston, please don't do this. We can still fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said calmly. You made your choices. Now you live with the consequences. What about Brad? She said desperately. He lost his job because of you. He's struggling. We need that money. I stared at her, genuinely shocked. You're asking me to fund your affair after everything? I'm asking you to have compassion, Vanessa replied. I have compassion, I said. For our kids, for the family you destroyed, for the future you threw away. But for you and Brad? You're on your own. Nathan pulled me away before I could say anything else. Let's go win. We won, but it didn't feel like winning. It just felt like surviving. 8 months after the divorce was finalized, I stood in the living room of our new house in Boulder, watching movers carry furniture. Emma had just started her freshman year at the University of Colorado. Jake was thriving at his new high school, captain of the wrestling team. Lily had made friends in her 3rd grade class and barely mentioned her mother anymore. The business had survived, more than survived. Without Vanessa's drama and Brad's interference, we'd landed the Anderson contract and 2 additional Fortune 500 clients. I promoted my senior developer to partner, brought in fresh talent, and opened our Boulder office ahead of schedule. Vanessa had moved in with Brad, who'd found work at a smaller tech company at half his previous salary. She'd burned through her settlement money within 4 months, tried to take me back to court for more support, and lost. Emma refused to speak to her. Jake saw her once a month out of obligation. Lily asked about her sometimes, but didn't seem particularly interested in visiting. Robert Hayes, Vanessa's father, had become a regular presence in our lives. The 68-year-old showed up for Jake's wrestling matches, took Lily to the park on Saturdays, and had Sunday dinners with us once a month. "You're a good man, Winston," Robert told me after one dinner. "Better than my daughter deserved. I'm sorry for what she put you through. Your grandchildren needed their grandfather." I replied, "That's what matters now." Emma came downstairs carrying a box of books. "Dad, what do you want to do with these?" "Your choice," I said. "This is your home, too." She smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen from her in months. "It feels good here, like we can breathe again." That evening, after the kids were asleep, I sat on the back porch of our new house, looking at the mountains in the distance. My phone buzzed, a text from Nathan. "Brad Sullivan filed for bankruptcy. Vanessa's calling everyone for money. Just FYI." I deleted the message. Their problems weren't mine anymore. I thought about the man I'd been a year ago, the one who discovered his wife's betrayal and thought his world was ending. I'd been wrong. My world hadn't ended. It had just been cleared of the rot, so something stronger could grow. I taught my kids that integrity matters, that honesty matters, that you don't compromise your values even when it hurts. They'd watched me stand up for myself, fight for them, and rebuild from the ashes. Emma was thriving in college. Jake was confident and strong. Lily was happy. And me? I was free. The betrayal had broken me open. But what grew back was tougher, clearer, better. I'd learned that love without respect is worthless, that trust is earned daily, and that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. I didn't hate Vanessa anymore. I didn't think about her much at all. She was just a chapter in my story, not the whole book. And the next chapters? Those were mine to write.